Hi everyone, I'm Aaron Burrell, and in this mini documentary, we'll hear from Adam Greenberg, the former Chicago Cub and Miami Marlin from Guilford, Connecticut. Adam has a truly remarkable story, and I sat down with him to talk about his playing career with the Cubs, his second chance with the Marlins, and his new book called Get Up, The Art of Perseverance.
Yeah, Adam Greenberg, the youngster stepping in, called up the same time Matt Merton was, so he's making his major league debut here.
The journey started when I was young. I mean, 5 years old or 6 years old, I was watching the Yankees on TV, and that was what I loved. I mean, I loved it to the point where I'd watch every game. I'd go to bed at night listening to the games. I'd wake up in the morning, look in the newspaper, see how they did. And I just had an affinity to baseball. But truly, I mean, I loved all sports, so it really played baseball, basketball, and soccer growing up. And then when I was 13, I played on the first Connecticut State AAU team. And we ended up going to Des Moines, or Iowa, the Field of Dreams. I mean, it was really, really cool. And we won the national championship. And at that point, I got to kind of see what the rest of the country was like in terms of talent. And so, wow, if I can play on that level, maybe I really can have a chance to play in the big leagues. And that's kind of where I'm playing baseball and I'm going to make it to the big leagues, where that switch flipped for me. And just grinded it out, played in high school, and got an opportunity to play University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And from there, junior year, got drafted by the Chicago Cubs in the 9th round. And that was, the first pinnacle of my professional career by getting drafted, and then ultimately having the opportunity. It was about 3.5 years later, got the call up of a lifetime.
Oh my goodness!
Injuries are a challenge no matter what you're going through in life. I mean, sports or personal, and you go through stuff that's trying. It pulls at your heartstrings and gets to the core of who you are and how you're going to persevere through it. So for me, I mean, I dealt with positional vertigo, where my eyes would move uncontrollably side to side. Blackout. I had vision issues in general. My eyes wouldn't converge on a contact point. So the following year after my injury, I hit 209 for the season. So that was a career 300 hitter. So that was tough. But then of course there's the non-visual problems that are going on in terms of your mental state. I was being asked by the Chicago media and friends, family, teammates, how you feeling, how you doing. I didn't have a cast on my arm or my wrist or my leg, so it's not a visual like, oh, you have a problem. So you start kind of almost questioning, well, what's going on with me? Am I really hurt? I really have a problem here? So that's kind of where some depression started setting in, and really kind of battling myself, let alone the injury that I sustained. It's that mental side of, well, am I going to be okay? And then I question it, and then, kind of deep down have to kind of battle out of the depths of that depression and the dark stuff.
Absolutely nowhere for him to go on that fastball. Here he is making his major league debut. He's trying to stay in there against a left-hander, and this fastball.
Everyone dreams of getting in the batter's box as a major league player, saying, I made it to the big leagues. And in a blink of an eye, that's the end of the dream. It's not supposed to end that way.
Valerio de los Santos hit me right in the helmet, and it's good to see that he's up.
Yeah, it is. And he probably wants to stay in the game, but they're just not going to allow it, because when you're hitting the head, you don't.
I had an ultimate goal was to make it to the big leagues, but obviously that wasn't going to happen today or tomorrow, after I got hit. So once I learned of what was happening and how I could positively go forward, that's kind of how it was. Just, what can I do today? What are the little steps that I can take today to just have a little sense of accomplishment? And that kind of gets you on that right path. That kind of gets your head in, or got my head on straight, and small achievable goals with an ultimate outlook of what I'm striving for. That's really how it takes. And then at the end of the day, you have two choices. What choice are you going to take of, poor me, my life's terrible, this is so bad, unfortunate, or I have an opportunity. Today is a new day. Today's an opportunity. I can take a step, have a little sense of accomplishment, and just move forward. So that's I try. It's not always the case, but you always try to take that other approach of, you can feel bad for yourself and be down for a bit, but life's going to go with or without you. So continue to persevere through and just kind of take those baby steps, and ultimately you'll get to I got to the finish line, and I'm healthy and happy, so it worked for me.
Fans have started a movement to bring him back to home plate.
So this is gaining momentum online. People are signing this online petition of 17,000 people now. It's really gaining some steam.
How far would you go to help a total stranger get a second chance?
I want to introduce David Sampson. David is the president of the Miami Marlins baseball team.
Adam, we'd like to sign you to a one-day contract. And if you come to Miami, we're going to put you in uniform and you're going to be a member of our team on Tuesday, October 2nd against the New York Mets. And believe me, you're going to get one at-bat, so get ready.
I'm ready to play. It was interesting because I got a phone call during the off-season. It was leading into the 2012 season, and I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to not play that season. Not retire, but just not play. I'd never be able to lay my head down at night knowing that I didn't give everything I had and made it back to the big leagues. Not try, but made it. So I got a random phone call from this crazy guy. His name was Matt Liston. He called me up. He's like, hey, I want to create a campaign and get all these people to support you and get you back to the big leagues. And I was just listening to this guy, and I'm like, man, you're out of your mind. But at the same time, what he possessed was a passion. His voice was just so genuine. He's like, I was watching Field of Dreams with my wife, and she was saying she felt bad for Moonlight Graham, and all I talked to her about was your story and how it wasn't right. You know, you made it to the big leagues and then just one pitch. So he's like, I'm a baseball fanatic and I'm a Cubs fan, and I just followed your path, and I just need to help you out. I want to do this for you. So I would be hypocritical to say, hey, crazy man, that I don't know. Don't pursue your passion. Don't follow your dream. You think this is possible? You know, I don't. You know what I mean? So I was cautiously optimistic, but what I told him was, get me to spring training, get me signed with an affiliate club, and let my on-the-field performance dictate whether I get that opportunity. I don't want a charity case. Just sign this and get me to the big leagues. So that was my message to him, and he heard it loud and clear. But I said, if nothing else, you're going to get some attention back on to me on the field. Well, even though I wasn't playing, but get that. Let my track record speak for itself. Give me another opportunity to get on the field, and then show my abilities from there. So he went with it and ran with it, and here I am.
R.A. Dickey on the mound, Adam Greenberg in the box, and here we go. First pitch, strike one.
Here's the one thing that I want to make very clear. This campaign and this at-bat is a success already.
Dickey, 0-1 pitch. And Greenberg takes a swing and a miss. And he's behind in the count, 0-2.
This is not a baseball at-bat to me. This is really a story to kind of help motivate people and have them realize that anything is possible if you don't ever give up and you keep your mind set on your goals.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out. But you know what? He made it back. He got his run back, and the crowd comes to its feet again.
Getting high-fived after a strikeout by the entire team and having people cheer, it just proved that this was, it really was important to a lot of people. Believe in yourself, have a dream, go for it, and don't give up, no matter what happens, no matter how hard things get, how hard life gets. Get up and go on, and don't be afraid to allow other people to help you through tough times. I've won and we've all won. Couldn't be more happy that this is how it turned out. I don't care what's going on in the last 7 years. It's all worth it for this moment. So the book that I'm writing, it's called Get Up, The Art of Perseverance. And obviously the title says everything, get up no matter what and just persevere through anything. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they're just things in the way of getting you to ultimately where you're trying to get to. But I think if people were to kind of look at my story on the surface, well, I had a pretty good high school career. I made All-State 4 years in a row from a freshman all the way to my senior year in 2 sports. I was All-American in 2 sports. I mean, that's pretty cushy. And then I went to college, UNC Chapel Hill, Rookie of the Year, my freshman year. Great, that's not crazy. And sophomore year, I had a good year, but I sustained a really, really serious injury. Almost lost 2 of my fingers in a weight room accident. Most people wouldn't know that. And, I suffered from my first bout of depression my sophomore year. Wasn't able to play my whole fall. Came back and didn't have the year that I wanted, that I was accustomed, and then ultimately, had a tremendous junior year and got drafted by the Cubs. A lot of people don't know that my first month playing, I sat the bench for 8 straight days after I signed professional contract, and I was like, I played for 3 weeks, and then I'm sitting on the bench for 8 straight days. I mean, things like that, and then I slid over a bat to start one season and ended up having surgery and missed half the season. I tore the TFCC in my wrist, missed the whole off season. Injuries, things that I went through personally, emotionally, ended up giving every possible thing that I had to the game of baseball. Filed bankruptcy at one point in my career. I mean, like, things that are really, really deep, that it's just the truth. It's the way that my story is, and I don't think a lot of people know that. It's just, I got hit, and 7 years later I made it back. But, leading up to and in the middle of those 7 years in that battle, there was a lot of stuff, and I think that's kind of why my story resonates so well when I speak to people and I get into more of the details, that whether you're a sports fan or not, whether you ever played a game or you're going through a personal illness, an injury, a bankruptcy, startup issues. I mean, whatever it is, being able to relate to people on so many different levels that it's, I want that to be told. So the more people that can have that, oh my God, I'm going through that, or I can relate to that, or wow, that's pretty amazing that all that stuff allowed me to kind of persevere through it. And I always like to make sure that I'm very, very abundantly clear in my entire message. I'm just a guy who got hit by a pitch in the big leagues. It just so happened to be ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, nationally televised game, but I'm no different or special, or my tragedy is not a tragedy. I mean, the things that happen to me, they're just life experiences. People that are overseas giving their life for us to have what we have here, there's real heartaches and real trauma. So I never, kind of make bigger of my situation than it is. But at the same time, because I have this platform, I want to be able to provide anything that I can to people to offer them hope, to offer them a pathway, and an opportunity to kind of overcome whatever obstacles are in their way and enjoy the journey of life, whether they ultimately hit the pinnacle of what they're shooting for, because it's really that journey. It's not what's going to happen. Oh, when you make it to the big leagues, well, you got to make it and win a World Series, or make an All-Star team, or make the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's always something else. So whatever your goals are, once you get there, they don't stop. So that's kind of the whole message behind my story, is get up no matter what happens. Push through any obstacles, because if you have a goal, there's going to be, you can't avoid things that are going to get in your way, but what lens are you going to look through ultimately determines the path in which things are going to keep going. And the words that you say even to yourself, the positive words and that reaffirmation, it really makes a huge difference.